Good morning, guys, and welcome to episode 92 of Costa Rica Real Estate and Investments. We're getting very close to the 100th episode here. It's very, very exciting. I'm working on the 100th guest. He hasn't said yes yet, but it's a big one if we can get him on. But anyway, really appreciate everyone for reaching out, taking the time to listen to this. It's been very, I would say, rewarding and fulfilling getting all the messages from you guys. Just saying that you've listened to every single one of the episodes, which is absolutely nuts because, again, we just keep adding more and more there. But really appreciate all the support there. Quite a few people asking us for a little bit of assistance on what to do here in Costa Rica as well. I always say that when it comes to investing, a lot of the time it is emotion backed up by logic. So a lot of the time we try to provide some of that logic for you, but also I would say a reality to that logic of what it's really going to look like as well. I think you'll hear on this episode with Ben, he provides a bit of a reality on what returns can look like, especially for smaller properties, but then also larger properties as well. So, it's we have a great reputation here in Costa Rica, and we're just trying to kind of preserve that and give you the raw reality of what investing could look like here in Costa Rica, and how to avoid some of the, I would say, some of the landmines, or, I would say giving people, information and perspective to make an informed decision in Costa Rica. So I think anyone looking to make an investment here, it doesn't matter what it is, if it's just land or you want us to take a look at something. I recently had a client who was looking to make an investment in a property, wanted me to just take a quick look at it. And I just was basically responding back saying, yeah, everything looks great. Well, there's been other ones where we just say, look, these are some of the risks that you just need to be aware of. But if anyone wants to reach out to us, you can. info@investingcostarica.com. That's info@investingcostarica.com. But let's get into today's episode. We're going to be talking with Ben Rutherford. Ben has been a senior sales associate at Bluezone Realty in Vita. He's been in Costa Rica, for over 12 years. And in that time has built and run a luxury bed and breakfast here and helped hundreds, if not thousands of people invest in the Southern Pacific areas, everywhere from Matapalo all the way down to the Osa. So we're going to be getting his advice today, an inside scoop on the Dominicao, Vita, and Hochau areas of Costa Rica, which are in the Southern Pacific area. For anyone that's listening, these areas offer people beautiful beaches, and it's kind of one of the only areas of Costa Rica that has mountains rising up from the ocean there. So you can get some elevation, stunning views, and also beautiful, beautiful surroundings with great climate as well, because you can get 1,000, 2,000 feet and be, 10 to 15 minutes away from the ocean as well. Remember, if you have any questions for Ben, all of his contact details are in the description. And remember, guys, I really appreciate the support. If you've liked the podcast, please give us a 5-star review. If you didn't, don't, but really appreciate everyone's support. But let's get straight into it. Good morning, Ben. How are you doing?
I'm very good, Richard. How are you?
Very, very good. I really appreciate you taking the time, as I know that you're very, very busy, if not probably one of the busiest realtors that I know in Costa Rica. So really appreciate you making the time for us.
You're very welcome.
Great. Well, Ben, you've been in Costa Rica. You've been in Costa Rica for quite some time, and you've also been in real estate for some time. But what has really surprised you in the last 6 months specifically?
I think, Richard, that's a good question. I think what has surprised me so far, is I write an article for each issue of Costa Pacifica Living magazine, and one of the things I've touched on a couple of times is that the Costa Rica market trends do follow North America. And
Yep.
At this time, we don't see that happening because there has been a little bit of a slowdown and a price reduction in some of the North American markets. That said, we don't get affected directly by mortgage rates. Say, the mortgage rates increasing in North America aren't affecting us in Costa Rica because our buyers are coming with cash. Expats don't have the opportunity really to get mortgages. So it would affect us maybe indirectly if, say, a buyer was looking forward to getting $1.2 million on their house and back home, and now they can only get $1 million. It's going to affect their budget of what they can afford in Costa Rica.
Yeah, $1 million still goes quite a long way, though, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we have we have some great inventory, but that is the most popular inventory under $1 million. So
yeah.
that $600,000 to $800,000 range is very popular and in very high demand, which is creating a shortage in the market.
Definitely. Well, I mean, I've seen two things which are interesting. A lot of people still looking to move down, you know, and especially the Southern Pacific areas of Vita or Hochal, those kind of areas where, you know, where your market is. A lot of people looking to move down. And then secondly is that like there are quite a few unvaccinated Canadians that still can't leave Canada yet, you know, from what I've seen. So as soon as they can, you know, because I've got a couple of clients who are just like, I'm just waiting to get out. So I think in July, there are actually a lot of them going to be coming down. And, you know, that area is very attractive because it still has that, you know, the northern area of Guanacaste is very dry. You know, and I'd say probably a little bit more Americanized than the southern areas of like, you know, Dominicado, Vito, Hochal, you know, a little bit more authentic and raw and jungle and beautiful kind of coves and beaches.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's what, you know, that's what attracted us 9 years ago. And we still have that feeling. And, you know, that we're not, you know, I think the first time we went to Costa Rica on vacation, we went to one of these very busy beach towns and we're like, wow, Pizza Hut and Subway. And like, this is not what we expected. And then our next vacation, we went further south. And as we were just driving along the coastline, that southern Costa Ballena, the Wales coast, we were just, you know, wow, this is what we thought we were going to see when we first came here. And it's just, yeah, it's just a beautiful, beautiful region.
Yeah. So, I mean, just to reiterate, I mean, you're not seeing any signs of really a cool off in your market in the southern area.
No, not at all. Not at all. And, you know, we do have lower seasons. You know, May is typically a lower season, and we try and beef up our inventory at that time so that we're ready for, you know, July, August is very busy for us, usually, you know, two of our busiest months of the year. And then, you know, it may slow down a little bit, you know, with buyers coming in November. But, you know, with our rainy seasons on the southern coast, you know, starting in May and then running through to December, that's when the serious buyers are coming, because they've come down. Like I was the same way. I, you know, was just there on vacation trying to escape Canada and the cold winters just for a couple of weeks. And so when we got serious about buying, we said, okay, we've got to go and see what everybody's talking about. And we, you know, we show up in September, which can be a rainy month, but still beautiful, glorious, sunny days. And we're like, this is easy. So, you know, and then we're hooked.
Well, I mean, it makes it easy to see properties sometimes as well, because again, you know, you may have renters in them in other times of years. So, I mean, I love September and October just because, again, the rivers are running, you know, it's crystal clear water, there's waterfalls, the country is green, the birds are out. And again, you can get in to see properties that maybe, you know, during January, February, March that are very difficult to see.
Yeah. Most definitely. It does make it a little easier, but you know, it still can be challenging with the rental market because of the pandemic. When the country opened back up again, people didn't care what month it was, they were traveling. And so many people, you know, and that's why there's such a high demand in buyers, because people can work from all over the world now. And you know, so we've had friends come stay with us for a week or two because they can work from anywhere. Some of them not even telling their work that they're in Costa Rica, you know.
Amazing what a VPN can do.
It's hard to explain the sounds of the toucans and the howler monkeys in the background when you're on a Zoom call.
Very true, very true. I mean, what are the hot markets in your area, Ben? I mean, what's stuff that just does not stay on the market that long?
Well, it's interesting. You know, that's an interesting question because it's not necessarily just about an area. For us, it's the topography. So we're the only part of the coastline where in Costa Rica where the mountains just rise right up out of the ocean. So you can get to some fantastic elevations for cool evening breezes. You know, where we are at 1,000 feet elevation, we're only, you know, 4 minutes down to the coastal highway, and then another 10 minutes to town. But so it's a very popular area for people who want ocean view villas. And then, you know, because of that topography, but then it's very popular in the beach areas like Bahia and Matapalo and, you know, where you can be by the beach and walking distance to the beach. Very different buyers. Absolutely. You know, I don't have many clients at all that would say, oh, we want to see both. They're there for one or the other.
Yeah. And I mean, Ben, what would you say about the rentability of one compared to the other? Just because a lot of people that listen to the podcast are also building vacation rentals or looking to make some form of investment here with a what I'd like to call a lifestyle return, something they get to enjoy while also getting some returns from it. I mean, does one rent better than the other in your opinion?
Yeah, ocean view definitely rents better. When you take a poll of friends and say, when you go away on vacation, and you have the option when you're staying at a hotel to have the garden view room or the ocean view room, most people will say, oh, we spend the extra $50 a night for the ocean view room or $100 a night for the ocean view room. And, because they may be coming from, an inland city in North America where they don't have an ocean view. And if you're going to be by the ocean, sure. I mean, so they do rent for more money, not necessarily better, because there are people, I was talking to Adobe Car Rental.
Yep.
They're the ones that we recommend. And they were saying, we still have like 60% of our car rentals are two-wheel drive, but our area it's important for people to have four-wheel drive. You can stay at a two-wheel drive rental, but if you want to explore, and that's what we're attracting, is those explorers, those adventure travelers, they should have a four-wheel drive car to get up and down those mountains. And even when I'm selling to my clients and they say, oh, we want to have a two-wheel drive car because we're going to be living down here in the flats by the beach. I'm like, well, that's great, but please remember, if you ever get invited for dinner, it could be up a mountain. So you're not going to be able to go, but, back to your question on rentability. I do tell my clients, don't expect, or expect to cover your costs if you're buying a 2-bedroom home, regardless of it's, down by the beach or up on the mountain, but don't expect to be coming down to a full Costa Rican bank account. Because, you need a property manager. They're going to take a cut of a monthly fee plus a cut of the gross revenue. You have maintenance, but it is very wise to rent your home in the humid climate, because as you have people coming and going, you also have a maid service coming in, and that's paid for by your rentals. So think of it that way, like, hey, I don't want you relying on making money on this rental. Now, when you get up to 3 bedrooms and 4 bedrooms and more, then you are opening up the market to, families traveling together, and people want rental homes. They're, because of what we've gone through the last couple of years, they're not as much into hotels and being around big crowds of people. So in the resorts, and we don't have any resorts in our area, the largest is about 30 rooms. So you could get very good rent. I've seen, 4-bedroom rentals net $70,000 a year.
That's great. Well, I mean, I appreciate your honesty, Ben, because I've heard people before working in real estate throwing around 10, 15% returns, which I think is I'm still trying to figure out on the model how that would happen when you're not doing it yourself. You're not there on site. Right. So to the listeners there, Ben, I think will always be very honest and direct with you on what you can make and what you can't make. So appreciate that. No,
absolutely. I don't want any false expectations. I mean, the good thing that's a challenge for us realtors in these areas is it's very rural, it's small town. And I just get, I find that, there are challenges moving to a foreign country, but it's wonderful talking to clients in 6 months after they've been there and hearing about, what they're like, what their version of paradise is. And that, my job isn't just to sell them a home. It's very involved even afterwards. I do get clients, messaging me on WhatsApp and saying, hey, what dentist do you use? Or, what doctor do you use? What pharmacy or, what bank do you prefer? It's a relationship that's going to continue, and your clients become your friends. You see them socially, you see them out, you run into them in the grocery store, that type of thing. And it is nice when, they've got good things to say about their new life.
Definitely, definitely. I mean, talking inventory in your area, Ben, I mean, what's seriously lacking and what would you personally be developing or building?
Oh, another good question, Richard. A lot,
Sorry,
a
I'm
lot's
full of them.
A lot is lacking, with such high demand. So, what is interesting is what we're seeing is what didn't used to be a part of the market segment is pre-construction sales. So there was some pre-construction condo development, but those
Yep.
one-ofs where, someone is coming down, they're buying some land, they're building a house and flipping it, building a spec home, that is becoming quite popular. My colleague has had, 3 pre-construction homes go under contract in the last few months.
Wow.
And that is it's a great opportunity. It's also good for the buyer to get involved that way, because generally once the house is finished, the price goes up.
Yep.
So and they can have a little bit of say in the color of countertop that they want and that type of thing. And that is happening. I'm about to launch a $2+ million home, 4-bedroom, fantastic ocean view. That's pre-construction. They've just broken ground. And I have another one that's 90% done at 2.45 million. 5 bedrooms with a gym and an office option and bonus room. That one's probably going to be done, shortly, but we started showing it a month ago and have been having great feedback on it. But again, the price may go up when it's finished.
Yeah, I mean, typically you find that just because, again, it's a finished product, and also is the people building it, what they've been through as well also gets, the stress gets reflected in the price.
Well, exactly. And, to your question, like, what would I be building? There's for entry level, because so many young people are moving to Costa Rica and wanting to, have their family there, their kids, that entry level market is great. And a huge shortage. We have a WhatsApp group.
When you say entry level, I mean, what is that, Ben? Just describing. The reason I say that is just a lot of people listening here who are looking for buying and building here as well, to rent or to resell. I mean, what would you say entry level is?
Yeah, in the 350 range.
Okay.
But that's what I say down in the flats, like at sea level. Entry level on the mountain has changed drastically. What used to be a home at 500,000 is could be 650, 700 now. That's entry level, ocean view, somewhat dated home. Perfect for the person who has some vision to say, hey, you know what, I'm just gonna I'm gonna update it, I'm gonna paint it. And can still be a fairly new home. I mean, an old home on the coast, the mountainside homes with ocean view, an old home is 15 to 20 years.
Yep.
Oh, no, it's an undiscovered area. The paved road only went in 2008. So it was the real adventurers who, expats who started in that area.
I remember driving down it. It was bumpy and took forever after Manuel Antonio.
Yeah.
So, and I mean, that entry level, I mean, are you talking 2-3 bedrooms?
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I mean, again, if you were investing for the next 5 to 10 years in the area, Ben, I mean, what are some of the beach towns you'd be looking at in your area and why?
One really interesting area, I think just north of Dominical, is Playa Matapalo. Just closed on a beautiful, 2,500 square foot lot there. Walk to the beach, titled land, so not just back from the concession, and you can still hear the ocean waves hitting the beach. Beautiful, long, kilometers long, miles long beach there, and it's kind of the undiscovered, I feel, area. There's still some really good value in purchasing. A bit of a shortage of land available, but as people start, subdividing the properties and selling them off,
Yep.
that's a really good opportunity, I think.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, there's a lot of stuff happening in Puerto Rico and, all those areas above it as
Yep.
well. I know I saw a project there the other day. I think this New York development group had it, and they're looking to sell it. And it's a large development that they have there.
Yeah.
And at some point they're going to sell that. And I mean, that's really going to put Matapalo on the map. And I've been staying at Matapalo. Yeah. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. It's raw. It's authentic. Yeah. So I think that's great.
I have friends and, past clients, friends now that they will drive 20 minutes from Uvita, 30 minutes from Uvita to Matapalo to walk their dogs every morning, because it's just so undiscovered, and there's such a long stretch of beach, that the dogs could just take off and they're not bothering anybody. And,
Yeah. No, I'm a fisherman and I fish there all the time because there are a couple of river mouths there. So it's good for snook and snapper and those kind of things. So, yeah. Well, I mean, Ben, you also have a luxury bed and breakfast also that you run as well. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. Well, my husband Nate and I, we moved down to Costa Rica in 2013, and we bought some land mountainside and a mountain called Escaleras, just above Dominical. And we built our house and 3 cabinas, and we thought in our early 40s we were going to retire and do that, and that didn't. It was just. We were really lucky. It is, it's called Tree of Life Cabanas, and it's just a magical property. And there's a massive mango tree that's why it was Tree of Life Cabanas. Yep. And there's this massive mango tree that we've built our house and our pool and our cabanas around. It's got a 70-foot canopy. It's all, and it you would think it was hundreds of years old, this tree, because it's so large. But our gardener, his grandfather planted the tree 75, 80 years ago. And so that was really neat, redoing the landscaping around it and sitting with my gardener. We had a beer afterwards and he was like, "Arbol es contente," like the tree is now content. I'm like, I think he was really proud that we cherished this tree as much as his family had enjoyed the fruit from it and still do. But we built 3 cabinas that they're 15-20 feet apart, so they create enough privacy for the guests. We started out doing breakfasts and dinners because I have a restaurant background, and good food was of big importance to us. And back in 2014 we felt like there was 2 or 3 restaurants that we could recommend, but I wanted to give that option to our guests. And then we slowly backed off on the food production, and now we just do villa rental. Like we've renovated 2 of them. One's now 700 square feet, the other 2 are 500 square feet. And then but it's not available to book because we're on vacation right now in Canada, visiting family and friends, and then when we get back at the end of this month, we start renovating, and we're going to renovate the place and then probably put it up for sale.
Good for you guys. I mean, I know, I know running a bed and breakfast sometimes can be demanding, put it that way. And sometimes it can be a lot of work. But I mean, a lot of people listening here and a lot of people I've spoken to are, have that vision of owning a property and having some small cabins on it or running a B&B. I mean, what advice would you give to anyone looking to do that?
It's a fantastic lifestyle. It, for us, it had shelf life just because I went into real estate and thought this is what I want to do. I mean, I just love reliving that experience when I get to watch the feeling I got when we got our property, and then reliving it every time we do a closing, but no, it is the advice I would have. It's actually what Nate, my husband, taught me was, he goes, all you have to do is be accommodating. Remember that when guests get off the airplane, a lot of them don't have a cell phone package, so there's no way to get into contact with them. Some of them book a month in advance and never reply to your emails about what time they're going to arrive. So but I love that fact that we're on property versus me being a property manager and having to go wait at a house for them, because they may decide they want to, in our directions, we would say, oh, make sure you stop at the Tarcolis Bridge and make sure you
Yep.
on the way and see the crocodiles. And here's the first beachside restaurant that you'll come to along the coastline and just after the Crocodile Bridge, and stop there and have a platter of seafood, and get them to start enjoying their experience. But as long as you're accommodating and they show up an hour late, that doesn't matter. They get welcomed with open arms, and then you just play with the business, and remember that the business can be what you want it to be. It's your business. When we started backing off and not doing breakfast for our guests, I was worried, and that we had to figure out. We did add little kitchenettes to our cabinas, so they're very efficient, self-efficient that way. But what you offer your guests is what they're ready for. They read the description usually when they're coming down, and but I think be accommodating is because same thing happens when they're on property. They've been there a couple of days, they ask for extra towels. Of course, everything's an of course and with pleasure. No problem. That drives me crazy.
Yeah. Well, that's a great outlook. I mean, and I think great advice there. I was with actually yesterday in Guanacaste with a couple who bought a place in Playa Grande. And he was mentioning about he was like, the area needs a sports bar. And I was like, dude, you don't want to do a sports bar. And he said, well, why not? And I said, number one, it's too close to where your cabins are, your homes are. So that just cross traffic is going to cause a lot of noise. And secondly is like, what's the ultimate goal here? Because if the ultimate goal is to basically have, residual income coming in, like that restaurant has a lot of moving parts. It has a lot of employees, and that their problems become your problems sometimes. So like really think about whether you want to do this. I'm not saying you don't need to do it. I'm just saying, think about what the end goal is.
Right. Yeah. No. And we had that, we had people while we were building give us their advice. And that's the thing, like, the best advice I think to a buyer is ask a lot of questions, because it is it's a different country, and there can be frustrations, because back home, we always knew who to call when we needed a plumber, an electrician, but you're starting over again. And sometimes we're less patient in our 40s and 50s. So, that seems to be a frustration with people moving here, and just let it roll off the back, and eventually you'll find the plumber, but,
definitely.
We designed our home, because I was in the restaurant business for 30 years prior. We designed our home. My brothers did the design for me, and we designed our home so that we could turn it into a restaurant if we had to. If planes stopped running into Costa Rica like they did a couple of years ago for a few months, we had the option of moving into our cabinas and then the home turning into a restaurant. That's how we designed it. So we could be doing, 40 dinners a night. Luckily we didn't need to. We took the opportunity to just enjoy the peace and quiet and the life, the jungle life. But I can't imagine mixing. I think you're definitely right. Don't mix cabina business with a restaurant. And in our area of Costa Ballena, there's, it's still, if you build it, if you build it, they will come. There's still a shortage of rooms, especially in high season. The constant with clients, saying, hey, we'll be down there in January, but we can't seem to find a place to stay. And that's 2 months prior,
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, I mean, a lot of people at the moment, just because there is kind of a bit of an inventory shortage on finished homes, are looking to buy land and build a home. I mean, in your opinion, when should they do this? And also people are always asking about how much equity they're going to gain from this, meaning that the land plus the building of the home and then what it's actually worth. I mean, how much do you think that they could be looking at making there?
Well, it's interesting. I mean, when we bought, people were pricing existing homes as land value, construction value, and that was your sales price. And now we are seeing people can buy land, build a home, even flip it, and make some money, because there's a lot of buyers, especially luxury buyers. They don't want to renovate. They don't want to
Correct.
go through construction. They want turnkey, ready to go, and they're willing to pay for it. And even mid-range buyers in the $1 million range, they just want to move in.
Yeah.
So there is opportunity. To answer your question, there is opportunity now.
Definitely. Well, my last question for you, Ben, is I think I've kept you long enough, and you're on vacation, so I really appreciate you taking the time on vacation to come on the podcast. But if you inherited $500,000 and had to invest it into a business or real estate in Costa Rica, what would you invest it in?
Land.
Yeah.
There's a couple of businesses available for sale, but I've already got things going on in my life that I don't want to be working.
Yep.
For maybe someone a little younger, that would be great. But so in personally my stage of life, just buy land,
Okay.
and either sit on it or just start developing it.
Is there any particular area that you'd be looking at? I mean, you'd invest probably in the market that but I mean, in which areas would you be looking further south of Tres Rios Chontales? Would you be looking in Oaxaca, Uvita, further north in Matapalo?
I'm really stuck on my Ocean View property, and
Yep.
When we sell, we're just going to do the same thing again, but just build a house and a guest house, because
Yep.
I love to be able to have that opportunity to have a guest house for clients when they're coming for closing, or friends and family. When I moved from Toronto to Vancouver, and I also lived in Dallas, Texas, didn't have a lot of family and friends visiting, but when I ed to Costa Rica, people were visiting us all the time, and still are.
Amazing. It's amazing how you get more friends when you move to Costa Rica. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, Ben.
Well, and it's been wonderful, Richard, because friends that they come out of the woodwork, but it's wonderful. People you haven't seen for 20 or 30 years have come down to visit. I've got a friend, as soon as I get back to Costa Rica, I haven't seen him in probably 20 years, and he and his wife are coming down. I've never met her, and they're coming down to look at properties, and we're going to go out for lunch, go out for dinner. It's a great opportunity. So thank you for your time today.
No, thank you, Ben. This has been absolutely great. And anyone that wants to contact Ben, I'll put all of his contact details in the description. And Ben, really appreciate you taking the time out of your vacation to chat with us.
Excellent. You're very welcome, Richard. Thank you.
No worries. Have a great day, Ben.
You too.
Bye. Guys, as you can see there, Ben is a wealth of information, has helped a lot of people invest in that southern area of Costa Rica, as well as having experience in restaurants and also running a luxury bed and breakfast. So if you want to contact him, all of his details are in the description. It's Ben Rutherford at Bluezone Realty. Remember, guys, if anyone needs any help with anything, we're always here to help you. It doesn't matter how small it is. As I say, I've got 15 minutes for everyone. It used to be 30 minutes, but I've got so busy. So unfortunately, it's only 15 minutes for anyone. And it doesn't matter what it is. Feel free to reach out to us. You can contact us, info@investingcostarica.com. That's info@investingcostarica.com. Once again, really appreciate your time and support in listening to the podcast. And we'll see you on the next episode. Bye.